And to discuss the future of mobile, Mark Niu sat down with Jeff Yee, Vice President of Marketing and Strategy for Chinese handset maker ZTE. Mark began by asking Yee how ZTE is preparing for 5G, even though it's still years away.
It's not out yet, but we've been working on it for a long time. So ZTE looks at it from two different directions. One is what's in the network, what carriers have, and then of course the other side of that is the receiving side. It's the terminal equipment that consumers use in the form of phones or tablets or hotspots. So we divide our business basically that way. So we sell equipment to carriers, 4G now, 5G soon, and we're currently at a stage where we're starting to prepare devices now, even for 5G and the massive speeds that come with it.
What would it mean for the consumer?
For the consumer, I think the most notable thing they're going to see is speed. So we already have a phone that has been tested for 1 gigabit per second speeds. 5G will go much faster than that. Deep within testing, we've got things going at about 19 gigabits per second. So that's going to be seen to the consumer as faster download speeds, watching movies and downloading things at much faster than what they do today.
Speeds of 19 gigabits per second. Yeah. What does that really mean?
Well, it means that, at home, I could probably cut my cord from my cable provider, right? I could probably run every TV in my house off of just that one connection and get full HD or maybe even, pretty soon 4K video running off of a 19 gigabit per second download speed.
Chinese company coming into U.S. markets, a very market that's been locked with a few competitors at the top. How are you doing so far?
Well, we're doing quite well. We're not battling at the top, just to be clear, but we're now fourth for handsets here in the U.S.
Fourth? How did you? I thought it was always, LG was down there, and you would have some of the others.
Apple, Samsung, LG, and then ZTE. So we currently have a 12.5% market share here in the U.S. for mobile phones. Here in the U.S., we're actually well ahead of any other Chinese company. The next nearest one would be Alcatel.
Are you lumping in the prepaid phones together?
Yeah, I count all mobile phones in that, prepaid and postpaid.
Because prepaid phones you're doing extremely well,
We do
right?
very well in prepaid phones. Maybe a quarter or so, roughly, of the prepaid market is ZTE phones. And for us, we see the U.S. market and emerging markets everywhere around the world. We want to get internet access to consumers, and the prepaid market is no exception. We want to get them fast connections, bigger screens to be able to do the things that they need to do. And it was a market that was maybe a little bit underserved before ZTE recognized that. And one of the keys to our success in that market has been larger screen size. Sometimes it's the only access that someone has to the internet, or maybe at least through most of the day. And so what we found is that bigger screens, bigger batteries tend to really resonate in the prepaid market.
So your competitors, Apple just released iPhone 10. We have Samsung with the Note and the S8. What do you think of the competition?
They're all worthy competitors, right? I mean, we aspire to be those companies, but if we look at what has been done in the smartphone market for the last 10 years now, and 10 years I mean since the original iPhone, there's incremental steps that have happened, and sure, a phone today is a lot better than the 2007 iPhone, but we're taking little baby steps, and for ZTE to really become the brand that we want to do, we know we have to do something different, and so we have to think out of the box, and it can't just be today's one single screen phone. So what we have in mind is really changing the way that consumers get their information and get their data on their handheld phone. For a Chinese company coming into Western market, we need to get rid of the perception of maybe quality or something that would be otherwise associated with Chinese companies, and so it's on ZTE to show that we can build great products, that we're listening to consumers and what they need, and that we can still deliver it at an affordable price point.